Hey everybody, Dennis here, retired NYPD detective and from Gatson Freedom Outdoors. All right, what I got for you today is the capture of the Savage in Pottstown, Pennsylvania. After 2 long weeks, we got him. We got him. The Savage is behind bars, hopefully rotting away in a maximum security prison. So we're not going to use his name because he does not deserve recognition, but we will recognize all of our law enforcement agencies and especially our K9 partners. Thumbs up to K9 Yoda. Got a little bite of this savage. All right, so let's get into this. So what I got for you here is called Flight Radar 24. So what this is, it's very simple. It's flight radar of any aircraft in an area in all your airports. I mean, we could zoom out and it shows you any aircraft that's in the area, gives you identification, type of aircraft, all the information about the aircraft. So we're going to zoom back into this area. Everybody should recognize this view. There we go. I'm going to leave that there for a second. Let it soak in. All right, so we all seen this location from the news, from the capture of the Savage, and all of our law enforcement officers and canines walking this perp out. So this is the area behind that barn right there. We've seen in the background of the videos. So this is where he was caught and bit. All right, so we're going to zoom out. We're going to get into this real quick. All right, over here is a helicopter. We'll get into that in a minute, but I just want to point out a few things here. So I zoom out real quick. So this is Pottstown, Pennsylvania. So this upper road here is Pfizer Road, one of the main roads for the perimeter. This road here is Route 100. And there's another main road for the perimeter. So we'll go here real quick. So Old Ridge Road and basically Route 100 is where he was spotted in a person's garage where the homeowner fired several shots at him and the Savage stole the 22 caliber rifle. It's along Route 100. So we're going to zoom in. Look at all these homes here. Look at all this area. All these places he can hide or take a hostage, hurt somebody, kill somebody. Look at this. There's water everywhere. There's streams in these woods. So we're going to zoom out. I want you guys to concentrate. Look on the landscape of this area. You got heavy, thick woods. You got fields. You got houses everywhere. You got farms. You got ranches, horse farms. I mean, can hide anywhere. It's crazy. 2 weeks. Yeah, it's a long time, but look at all the places this guy can hide. You heard on the news, they interviewed him. He said 3 or 4 times law enforcement walked right past him. He was only 7 or 8 feet away from them. Yeah, hello. We're in the woods. We're in thick brush. Sorry, I get upset. Do not like the haters and the trolls that downgrade our law enforcement. They're doing everything in their powers. And we got them. Bottom line. All right, guys. So this building here, probably recognize it. This is a school. This was used as a staging area for law enforcement. You've seen videos of the tactical teams in this parking lot over here with all their tactical gear, their tactical vehicles, the Bearcats. So this school is important because look where it is into relation to the perimeter, right? Your main roads here. Route 100 actually loops back around down here and comes back up. So, I mean, here's the location. Right? Here's that road. So that's a big location. But keep in mind, I keep jumping all over the place, but the first sighting, when he ran across the road where they recovered his prison sneakers, that was over here too. I was actually watching a live stream when it was happening. And then he stole the gun along Route 100 too. So you see where the mindset of law enforcement's going? So this road here, Pfizer Road, is what you're seeing with all the law enforcement lined up along the road. You know, they set their cars 25, maybe 50 yards apart, trying to keep him south of that perimeter in this area. There was law enforcement all along Route 100. They actually had that road closed off. They had a lot of these smaller roads closed off. Only residents were allowed on them. So you have a staging area, call it a command post. Look at the distance. That ain't that far. Was it? Few wooded areas, huge field. Now, this line here is a utility crossing opening, right? These are power lines in here. It's a utility easement, is the correct word for it. So there is footage of tactical teams lining up along this easement, and they were going to do a line search, almost like a grid search, but they're lined up probably 25 yards apart from each other, 50 feet apart from each other. They're going to keep everybody from the left and the right in sight, have a visual sighting of the guys on either side of them. And when they walk in, they're going to be sweeping left to right. And they're going to maintain that line and continue to walk straight. So think about it. This guy is tiny, 5 foot, 100 pounds soaking wet. Going to lay on the ground, maybe cover himself up in some leaves or branches or a down tree. So now you have guys walking a straight line. Very easy to walk past him or even over him. Like I said, I've been hunting for, just under 40 years. So when we do what we call a deer drive, we'll have a guy in a sitting position, say a couple hundred yards away, and then a bunch of us will line up and we'll walk in a straight line on an angle to the hunter that's sitting. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to push deer towards him. I can account for one time up in the Adirondacks in upstate New York where we did a deer drive and the deer didn't move. He bed down. We walked right past him. He went between me and my uncle, and we got 20, 30 yards past him, and we heard him running the opposite direction. So he's this guy, I don't want to call him smart. I guess we could say he's clever, right? You know, he made a statement that they walked past him. You know, it's very easy to do. Very easy. You know, especially if this guy had training it, he was born and raised in Brazil. It's a different type of forest or whatever you want to call it out there, different type of woods. But yeah, I mean, look at this stuff. This is thick. All right, we'll get back to it. All right, so you got your staging area there. If anybody's seen, there was footage. You got tactical teams lining up in this field, right? And they went into this farm area over here. They showed them petting the goats, playing with the goats. Then they talked to the homeowner, to the farmer, rancher, right? And they continued along this field. And when they got into this area over here, they searched the buildings. They showed you them going in and out of all these buildings. And then they searched this crop area over here. And this is like plastic that covers the crops. But there's all weeds in here. Just think how easy it is for someone to hide in between these crops, especially like the cornfields, right? You would have to literally walk on top of the person to find them. Plus, look, I mean, there's a little bridge here, so you got a creek, thousands of places for him to hide, like he's done for the last 2 weeks. This guy is an opportunist. That's all the savage is. He's an opportunist. He was waiting. He said he was waiting and watching the cops. He has the advantage. He can stand on one spot, spin 360, and see where every cop is. You know, just think about that. Cops are looking for one savage in all of this. And all he has to do is stand there and look around and see where they are. And then bury himself, lay down, belly crawl to a different area. Yeah, cops ain't doing their job. Yep, okay, you get out there and you search for somebody in this terrain. Give me a break. All right. I rant and rave about these haters. All right, guys. So, flight radar, we're going to click on this helicopter. So, that's the aircraft identification number. You see here, tells you the type of aircraft. Bell is the company of the helicopter. That's their model. So, it's showing this helicopter at 1,025 feet above the surface, flying at 31 knots. It's tracking, right? And you go down, it tells you lat and longitude. So you could pinpoint exactly where this is. So I have this set at, all right, we're going to set this because we know it's right around 8 o'clock. So helicopter's down here. Here's the barn. Make sure it's on 1 times. All right, so you see how the circles are big, right? So what they'll do is they'll fly an area, go a wide circle, and then they'll start making the area smaller and smaller. So the more information they get or a sighting, they're narrowed down that search area. Like right there, the helicopter was hovering. So picked up speed a little bit. He went down to 1,000 feet. So I just had to redo this video because for some reason we lost visual on the helicopter and it's doing it again. All right, so you can actually see how he's doing the circles, right? He's hovering again. It's back to 46 knots, 1,000 feet above the surface. Yeah, at one point there was 3 news helicopters and a state police helicopter searching the area. So you had 4 helicopters basically searching the area. And yes, news helicopters will help in a scenario search like this. You know, more boots on the ground, more eyes in the sky. It doesn't hurt, it helps. Just think of them, getting permission to fly this area and they spot this guy. Just think of the news coverage, right? So when he stops, he's hovering. So I'm going to keep this right here so everybody can see the altitude and the speed that he's going. But just look at these patterns. You can see the circles, right? And then you start seeing straight lines or zigzags. So at 8:04, we know it's right around this time. You can see the patterns right above the building. Now, here's my assumption. I think it was these woods right in here. We'll zoom in a little bit. Hopefully the helicopter will come back into view. So we seen him walking out from by this building, right? He was hiding underneath wood. So it's got to be right in this general area, west of this building, right? Because if it would have been here, they would have came out from here. So my experience is telling me it's from the west of this building. He was hiding under the logs. Thermal imaging picked him up. And that's when K9 Yoda got a treat. He got a little snack. Hopefully they washed and brushed that dog's mouth out. Get the taste of savage out of his mouth. So this flight radar, like I use it for drone. I have all the apps to use when I'm flying the drone, but this one here just gives me more in depth, so I can do an overlay of an entire area and see if there's any aircraft that are going to come into the area depending on their flight pattern or flight path, I should say. So this gives me a wider view, wider array of what's in the area. It also show you airports. I can click on different things. But like I've been monitoring this and the police scanner probably the last week with this search for this Savage. So and where are we at? We're at 8:06 a.m. So where is this helicopter? It disappeared again. Of course it did. Man, all right, let's see. Can we move it? All right. So here we are. Let's get in there. We are at 8:08 a.m. The helicopter's making another pass over the area, coming back. So I mean, my assumption is it's right around this time that they found him in the woods. You know, it's hovering. I'm just gonna let this flight path play out to like 8:15. I mean, the helicopter's zooming all over the place. It's still 34 knots, 1,000 feet above the surface. But like monitoring this case and stuff and watching the news feeds, I would click on a news helicopter and I would click on this helicopter or the state law enforcement helicopter, and then I can pinpoint the exact location. So there's a view where state police helicopter is hovering 500 feet above the ground, literally touching the tree canopy. It was the same time where I showed you tackle team was on the utility easement and they were going to do a line search. Well, the helicopter was on the east side of that by the field. You know, they were trying to flush him out. All right, so we're 8:10 and the helicopter's right here. So my feeling it was right in these woods area. I know there's a thermal image where they showed him sort of in the woods. So my assumption is right here. They walked out from here. They were by this little barn. I mean, you can see the aircraft path, right? Intersection, all the other lines that it went, almost a triangle right in this area. You know, you get a little heavier right in here. The majority of this helicopter's flight path is right here. And I'm sure this helicopter has thermal imaging as well. But I mean, this guy could have went anywhere. There's so many homes, so many places to hide. Every agency involved in this search did one hell of a job. Great job by everybody involved. I mean, with the sightings, they used everything they had, all the equipment, every utility, every agency, everything they had to offer to narrow down the search area to this. Remember, there was a sighting. He lost his shoes. Then he stole the gun. He lost his green sweatshirt. But he also managed to get the boots off of somebody's porch. He had a sweatshirt on. So he stole that too. So he's been visiting people's homes. You know, if you don't got cameras or motion sensors, you know, you can sneak up to somebody's clothesline or porch and steal something right off of it. Excuse me. This guy was crafty. So we're just, just gonna wait. I'm gonna leave it play. See if I can just up this a little bit here. We'll go to 4 times. So we're at 8:12. We know this is right around the time. Helicopter's back in the area. Let's zoom out. Let's see what this helicopter does until 8:15. All right, so put the speed back down. We're right at 814. Excuse me. Helicopter's flying 50 knots. See, he's hovering right there. Then he's coming back. He's staying right around this building now. So we noticed right around the time. So you see what I mean about the flight path of this helicopter? You got all these circles, and then you got zigzags. Oh yeah, already 8:15. All right. Let me unclick this guy here. We'll zoom back in. I don't think he comes back in over here. All right, guys. So I just want to give everybody a little idea what our law enforcement went through to narrow down the search and to apprehend this savage. Get this out of there. We'll bring myself full screen. So I appreciate each and every one of you taking your time out to watch this video. Hopefully gave you a better understanding what a law enforcement went through and how they went about apprehending this guy. Savage. I don't call him a guy either. All right, guys. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the notification bell so you get notified when we go live again. Great job by our law enforcement, all the agencies involved, every officer, and our K9 partners. Great job, Officer Yoda. Wish you would have got a bigger bite out of him. All right, guys. Thank you. We appreciate all of you.